gentlemen, we hit it a little bit early just to mix things up because time loses all meaning in the Paranormal Portal. So we thought, why not start a little earlier?
Because we're usually late.
Before the 5 after mark. What time is it? Yeah, we're still 2 minutes early, Don. This
my
is
goodness.
unprecedented.
Oh, my goodness.
Moment on the Paranormal Portal. And if you were here, you got to witness it. We actually started a little bit early. And as such, all I can tell you is you could probably expect the same show either way, no matter when it launches, but at least we started a little bit earlier. So don't get your expectations too high. But hello to everybody that's coming in the door. Good to see you. Hi, Mom. How you doing? Good to see you, Mama. I just wanted you to know that I'm not alone, as you already heard. He gave it away, but I am joined, of course, by the right hand of the Paranormal Portal, the big toe himself, my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Oh, right. I missed my cue again. Sorry.
That's all right.
It's because we're early. You know, it's something that never happens.
You from 2 minutes from now, you'll hit that cue.
Yeah, I was like,
yay.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
Be here. So, yeah, good. Oh, look, Paisley's here. How weird is that?
Weird.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, welcome everybody that's here. We're thrilled that you're with us as always. We've got a boatload of fun on deck for you, and hopefully you enjoy it too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, just want to say a special thank you and let you know about Cryptid Coin. It's a beast of an investment.
It's a beast of investment.
This, ladies and gentlemen, Cryptid Coin is a newer cryptocurrency geared towards paranormal research and investigation, cryptid research and investigation. So if you're looking for a crypto investment, I can't give you advice because, well, I'm an idiot. But I understand that a lot of people are jumping into the crypto realm for investments. And this one has got me really excited because, of course, it's got a picture of Bigfoot on it, and it's called Cryptid Coin. And it's all exciting. It's also available on PancakeSwap now, so it's easier to get involved than ever. But if you want to learn more, check out cryptidcoin.io. Again, that's cryptidcoin.io, and find out more.
So does the Cryptid Coin really have Bigfoot on it?
Yeah, but right there. See?
Well, yeah, but I mean, is there a coin? Like Bitcoin had a Bitcoin. You could get it was actually a Bitcoin.
I don't know if they're going to mint some of these or not. If they do, I hope to get my hands on some.
It would be meant to be.
It would be it would be meant to be. That is not what you just did. All right. It's meant to be, as Don said.
Meant to be.
So Cryptid Coin, it's meant to be. But thank you so much, Cryptid Coin, for being an investor in the Paranormal Portal. We appreciate it a bunch. And let's see, Don. Are you okay over there?
Yeah. It's just been a long day, but
like every day.
6 in the morning, 6 at night.
It's past your bedtime. Is that what you're saying?
Oh God, yes. It's always past my bedtime. What time is it? Noon. It's past my bedtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
My bedtime was 11:59.
Oh, this morning, not in the evening.
1T1D1.
1T1D1. There you go. Don's trying to figure out how to say 11:11 as a year. So
1T1D1. Yeah,
1T1D1. But anyway, guys, we got a bunch more on the docket for tonight. As always, if you're new to the show,
what is this? A court?
Well, funny, I should go there.
It's cryptic.
you know what kind of day I've had, Don. So
yeah, that's true.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that there.
I digress. Let's go back.
Let's reverse a little bit. We're gonna go to, ladies and gentlemen,
the news.
The news. It's time. Here we go.
Whoa.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your most trusted news source, the Paranormal Portal News.
I thought solid gold dancers were going to come out and start doing some dancing or something.
Yeah, well, they're about solid copper now, Don. They're a little past their prime, maybe. But welcome to the newscast, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
I could think was brown chicken, brown cat.
Jeez. Yeah, no, we still want to remain monetized, so let's keep moving forward here.
Hey, thank you, Wes, for that.
Special thank you to Wes Germer for that epic new intro to the newscast. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Long Island Bigfoot. Oh, yeah. Don and I almost held hands there in a moment of passion. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Oh, man.
What is it? What is that? Is that a sticker? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a sticker. Very cool.
Nice.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We got a bunch of news that I've curated for your pleasure, your observing pleasure. So without further ado, let's get to it. The first article up on the newscast is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And get ready for a whole jumble of information you might not have ever needed before, but you're going to get it anyway. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us Stranger Thing monster washes up on beach in Wales. That's right. Look at that. It's...
Oh, wow.
What is it, Holden bras or what's going on there?
Those are shells.
Those are shells? I didn't know. Looks like it is. It looks like, okay. I'm just seeing a bra here. I don't know. A creature resembling the mind flayer from Stranger Things has been photographed on a Benner beach in Gwynedd. The peculiar creature, which appears to have multiple tentacle-like appendages, was discovered along the shoreline by Shell Longmore during one of her regular walks. Describing it as a starfish playing maracas, she posted the picture up on Facebook to get a second opinion. I thought I'd seen all the local wildlife until I found this. It was a massive shock, she said. It was a strange-looking creature, but also very beautiful. It wasn't long before social media users began comparing the creature to the mind flayer on the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. As it turns out, however, this weird tentacled mass is in fact a gaggle of gooseneck barnacles. A gaggle of them. Yep. Considered a rare delicacy, these filter-feeding crustaceans can sell for over $350 per kilo.
Wow.
There you go. Who needs to deal drugs when you can get yourself some what the hell were they? Gooseneck barnacles. There you go. Could get some gooseneck barnacles, ladies and gentlemen. And they apparently wash up on shores over in Gwynedd.
Gwynedd.
Well,
yeah, Ruger, that's what I thought he said too. Shell lawnmower. That's exactly why I was laughing. I thought that's exactly what he said. Shell lawnmower. What is she on the beach going?
can't take you guys anywhere.
Shell's going like this.
It was Shell Longmore.
Longmore.
Oddly enough, though, she's walking on the beach, and her name is Shell with 2 L's.
She sells
seashells on the seashore.
Oh,
that's right. I'm not sure what she does for a living, but she likes to find gooseneck barnacles, apparently. And
gaggles of them.
Gaggles of them, as it were, ladies and gentlemen. A gaggle of gooseneck barnacles. That's what it looks like. There you have it. I don't know. That is strange, but that's the first up on our newscast tonight. And we'll continue on here with more. But wait, there's more. This is a little, I don't know. I don't know where you're on the map with this, and I'm not sure how they get them to use it. And, excuse me, hold on.
What kind of grass there, farm?
Unexplained-mysteries.com reports, is it ethical to use human brain cells to make computer chips? Now, this might be a huge one.
Oh, no.
This is a really big one, so I'm going to leave it out there.
That's not too big.
Show of hands, is it ethical? The year of 2030, and we're at the world's largest tech conference, GES, in Las Vegas. A crowd is gathering to watch a big tech company unveil its new smartphone. The CEO comes from the stage and announces the what? Neuro or something, containing the most powerful processor ever seen in a phone. The Neuro can perform an astonishing quintillion operations per second, which is 1,000 times faster than smartphone models from 2020. It's also 10 times more energy efficient with a battery that lasts for 10 days.
Wow.
Journalists asked what technological advance allowed such a huge performance gains. The chief executive replies, We created a new biological chip using lab-grown human neurons.
Oh, Abby normal.
I don't think there's any. If they're lab-grown and they're just like growing them from stem cells or whatever, go ahead. I don't have a problem with that. Do you, Don?
I don't know. That stuff's still really scary.
So another journalist asked, is there any ethical concerns about computers that use human brain matter? Well, they grew them in a lab. It's not like they were just, cracking skulls.
But yeah.
Let's get it fresh.
It's a Kraken skull.
Yeah.
Release the Kraken. I don't think it's good to mix. I mean, this is like your phone is now a cyborg.
Kind of, but I don't. Well, is it self-aware though?
Well,
we're talking about performance.
Have you ever seen the show The Mitchells versus the Machine?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, that'd be a bad thing.
Okay, well, the question is it ethical? And I think as long as it's grown in a lab and they're not like biopsying some live stuff from people that might need it, then
I don't know. If they offer me $10,000 to biopsy my brain, I don't know.
No, Don, they're trying to make smartphones.
Oh man.
I don't know. I don't know if it leaps ahead that far and it's energy efficient. I mean, honestly, folks, here's the thing. I think that in order for technology to move forward, it's going to have to mimic biology anyway, because there's only so much you can do with a wafer of silicon. I mean, that's Moore's law. It only it doubles every so often, but you're going to run out of room, and then things will have to get bigger. But if they can use another substance, why not? Why not? So. That's my take on it. Not that I'm right or wrong, but it's my take. So,
well, farm they grew. We without reading the whole thing, we're pretty sure they're grown from stem cell.
Yeah. I don't think they're actually like scraping skulls or anything like that. Because they probably wouldn't produce too many chips from that.
Not really.
Sorry. Just being biographical here.
Oh, for example, Casper says the human brain says keep a quintillion. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of improvements though. I think it's cool. I think that's more and more we're going to see technology mirror or utilize biological processes anyway. And I think that's going to be the quantum leap ahead in technology. I don't think we're going to continue to shrink electronics into smaller and smaller packages. We're going to have to be able to just learn how to utilize existing biological processes, like even photosynthesis. It's mimicked in solar panels, but I think maybe they can figure out how to use actual photosynthesis to create energy from sunlight. So I don't know, just some thoughts. But anyway, come to your own conclusions. This isn't I don't pretend to be any kind of ethical. More.
But never mind.
I'm no judge, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, but it's cool. I think it's kind of cool. If you want to read more, I'll link it in the chat. You can read the whole article. It is a bit of a read, and in the spirit of moving the show forward, I'm going to just put it in the chat, and you can peruse it at your leisure.
Which means after the show.
Which means click it and go back to it after we're done. All right. So let's continue on. What do you say, Don?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see what's up next on our roster of fun here on the Paranormal Portal News. Next up is... I don't know about this guy. I don't remember who he is. But anyway, unexplained-mysteries.com. UFO phenomena, Kenneth Arnold flying saucer sighting turns 75. 75 years ago, pilot Kenneth Arnold sighted several strange objects in the sky near Washington's Mount Rainier. There's a lot going on up there, isn't there, for UFO stuff?
There always have, because there's a bunch of Bigfoots up there.
Ah, they're getting rides? Is that like Bigfoot Ubers?
Hey!
Just a couple of weeks before the Roswell incident, a pilot from Minnesota reported an encounter that would go on to be cited as the first widely reported modern UFO sighting in the United States. Arnold had been flying his plane, a Cal Air A2 from Chehalis. Is that how you say that? Chehalis?
Yep.
Okay. Washington to Yakima. Yakima. Washington on June 24th, 1947, when he decided to take a quick detour in an attempt to track down the wreckage of a missing military plane which had crashed somewhere near Mount Rainier. Failing to locate it, he had resumed his flight eastward when he witnessed what appeared to be a formation of 9 highly reflective objects flying in the sky. The mysterious aircraft were stretched out across an area of around 5 miles in what he described as a diagonally step-down echelon formation. He quickly realized that he was not looking at any conventional aircraft, assuming them to be some type of prototypes being tested by the military. Arnold estimated that they were traveling at speeds of up to 1,700 miles per hour, far faster than any known aircraft at the time. Upon landing, he told some of his pilot friends about what he had seen, and the next day he was being interviewed by the reporters. His description of the events would lead to the coining of the term flying saucer. Even 75 years later, no definitive explanation for what he witnessed that day has ever been found. Very cool. So that was 75 years ago, folks. Wow. That's pretty cool. And he was Minnesotan.
Minnesotan.
He was from Minnesota.
He's from Tiny Soda.
He's from what did you say?
Tiny Soda.
Tiny soda? It's not
soda.
tiny soda. It's
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
All right. So.
Tiny soda.
All right. So, oh, hold on.
What are you doing? What?
No. I'm getting a message.
Uh-huh.
Oh. All right, folks. This just in. We got some breaking news. Stand by. We're going to go to our coverage.
Caution tape blocks the entrance to the Mars Wrigley plant here in Elizabethtown, and first responders have cleared the scene. But 911 dispatchers tell us both victims were rescued and were checked out by paramedics. It was about 2 o'clock this afternoon that workers here called 911 saying that 2 people were stuck in a tank that had chocolate in it. The Lancaster County Task Force was also on the scene this afternoon. That team is made up of first responders from around the county who bring special equipment along with them. 2 medical helicopters were also on the scene, standing by at Elizabethtown High School. Now, we do not know if the victims were transported in those copters, but we do know they were taken to the hospital for evaluation. Now, we're told by workers here that this plant makes a number of different chocolate products. We did reach out to the Mars Wrigley Company to get a response, a comment about the incident that happened here. So far, they have not responded to our request. In Elizabethtown, Lancaster County, and Shannon, WGAL News 8.
Wow. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Breaking news right here on the Paranormal Portal. Just got to stay out of the chocolate. Right, Don?
What the hell was that?
That was a special breaking news report. What do you mean, what was that? That's the technology is adapted on the Paranormal Portal to bring us breaking news. What was that?
I see. Okay. All right.
Special thanks to Mr. Germer again. Wes has got a flair for creativity.
He says both audios are playing in OBS. There's an echo.
Oh, did it echo?
Oh, yeah, because we didn't shut
Yeah,
off
I
the
didn't shut off the one. Oops, my bad. My bad. Sorry about that. But anyway, hopefully you were able to make it out. There it was, people playing in chocolate. People were actually, I think somebody commented on that, what was going on was one of the tanks that mixes chocolate broke down and the surface became hard.
Oh.
And so the guys working on it kind of were going out.
And then flat.
And then they went through into the chocolate, I guess. And maybe that's not funny. I think they're okay, though. So, I mean, it's only funny once everybody's okay. So I guess they were okay. But at any rate, there you have it.
Oh, man.
Very cool. Very cool. The term flying saucer comes from the fact that he described the flight of objects as skipping through the air like a rock on water. Oh, very cool, Ron. Thanks. That's cool. There's always new information, folks. All right, let's get back to the regular news here. I don't know why that is open. I don't like that. I don't want it there.
Stop it.
There it goes. All right, got it closed, and I'm going to bring you the next article up for Ron here on the Paranormal Portal News.
I was waiting for something like, and one of the victims was Don Longbeard. I was expecting that because I knew I had a feeling it came from Wes. So, he got stuck in a tube like Augustus Moot or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, yeah.
That little fat bastard got sucked up the tube.
Turned into a big blueberry.
Well, we can't use all that hair in that vat.
Yeah, no, that's not a good flavor. All right.
That's what happens when kids get fat.
From unexplained-mysteries.com brings us the next article up for fun. And this is, we may have to dig to find evidence of life on Mars, folks. They're kind of coming to terms with the fact that there's not much on the surface. But it's been a long-held belief by many different schools of thought that perhaps there's life, even microbial, still existing on Mars, but maybe even much more complex.
Yeah.
But This one isn't too long, so we can read it. A new study has suggested that evidence of the ancient Martian life may only exist 2 meters beneath the surface. The discovery that there was once life on the red planet, most likely during a time in the distant past, when Mars was covered in rivers and oceans, this would be one of the most important scientific discoveries in the history of human civilization. Why? I mean, was there any doubt that it used to be a living planet? I don't understand. So far, we've yet to make such a find. However, scientists may be closing in on it. According to a new NASA Laboratories experiment, the Mars rover may have been looking in the wrong place. Turns out that the ionizing radiation from space degrades small molecules, such as amino acids, some of which being important indicators of life, much more quickly than expected. And this means that the best signs of ancient life on Mars will most likely be found around 2 meters beneath the surface, where such evidence will have remained relatively protected. Either that, or rovers will need to target outcrops that have only recently been exposed. Current Mars rover missions drill down about 2 inches, around 5 centimeters, said Alexander Pavlov of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. At those depths, it would only take 20 million years to destroy amino acids completely. The addition of perchlorates and water increases the rate of amino acid destruction even further. Missions with shallow drill samplings have to seek recently exposed outcrops, e.g. recent microcraters with ages less than 10 million years, or the material ejected from such craters. Well, there you go. There you have it. There could be answers just below the surface. So,
well, nothing's. Never mind. Oh my God.
Nothing's. Never mind.
Yes,
okay.
Nothing's.
All right. So that's the possibility of life on Mars. Well, they might be even deeper than that, is what I'm thinking. Get a bigger drill. Send. What's his name? The diehard guy.
John
McClane. But he did the asteroid. Who's the actor? Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, send Bruce Willis and the guys over there. They can punch a hole in Mars, no doubt.
Shit. As long as they send Ben Affleck, but he has to go.
He has to
dressed
stay
as Batman,
and he has to stay when they all fly off to safety.
There you go.
All right, from unexplained-mysteries.com comes Slender Man attacker seeks conditional release. Eey. All right, this is one of those kids that tried to kill their classmate.
Oh.
The woman had tried to kill her classmate because she believed it would appease the fictional creepypasta character Slender Man. The chilling incident, which occurred in 2014, saw Anissa Weier and Morgan Geyser, both who were 12 at the time, lure one of their classmates out to a woodland park in Wisconsin before attempting to take her life. Ugh, creepy. The senseless attack was reportedly dedicated to Slender Man, a fictitious entity invented on an internet forum, who typically appears as a very tall, thin individual in a black suit and no face. Geyser, who pled guilty to the first-degree intentional homicide in 2018, was sent to Winnebago Mental Health Institute, where she was determined to be suffering from mental illness. Well, you think? Anyway, continuing on. Weier, meanwhile, had also been sent to a mental health facility, but was later released on the basis that she no longer represented a threat to the public. Now Geyser is petitioning to be released on similar grounds. She will be subject to a renewed medical evaluation, with a decision expected later this year.
Chronic use of Thorazine. Oh my gosh.
That might do it. That kind of gets them all mellow, I think.
Yeah, well, it's called lobotomy in a bottle.
Thorazine is?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, you'll walk around like a...
Oh, I might have met some people like that.
Yeah, that's just...
All right, let's go to the last article up on our newscast for the night. And this one, as soon as I close this, there we go. This one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one is, apparently the guy that's been flying around the airport in L.A. is back.
Right.
On a jetpack. And this is unexplained-mysteries.com. Check out the site, by the way. It's a great site. Please support what they're doing. Mystery Jetpack Man is sighted yet again at LAX. Man, that guy's pretty bold. An airline pilot recently sighted a mysterious individual flying a jetpack near LAX on Thursday afternoon. The Jetpack Man mystery first came to light back in 2020 when pilots reported witnessing what appeared to be a person flying a portable jetpack device near Los Angeles International Airport. The mysterious figure was observed several times, sometimes at altitudes of 3,000 feet, and on one occasion a mere 300 feet off the wing of one of the airliners. He's only 300 feet away, drifting right by, like waving or what?
Yeah.
Was he Iron Man? The presence of something of this nature, especially at such a height and within the vicinity of a major international airport, sparked a great deal of debate at the time. However, no explanation for the sighting was ever found, and nobody came forward to identify themselves as the culprit.
Duh.
Yeah, I'll bet. You don't want to wait. You probably don't want to be waiting around for that to happen.
No.
I'm betting it won't.
Yeah.
It says now, 2 years on, it looks as though the mystery is back in the spotlight after yet another sighting of an alleged figure flying a jetpack was reported by a flight near LAX at 2:45 p.m. on Thursday. How hard can it be to find somebody in a jetpack? I mean, wouldn't the list of prospects be kind of slim?
Well,
who it could be?
But the thing is, though, is like, where are they landing? How can they track that?
Well, I guess. We heard the Jetpack Man is back. Air traffic control was reported as saying, I have a report of a jetpack 4,500 feet over a gate in the section, which is about 6 miles east of your present position right here. As things stand, it remains unclear whether or not the anomalous object actually was a man flying a jetpack. However, if this turns out to be the case, then it would be consistent with the other sightings back from 2020. A formal investigation was previously carried out. However, nobody was ever caught or charged. If there really is a man in a jetpack flying around near LAX, his identity remains a total mystery.
Well, that's ballsy, though. That's like,
It is, nobody's gotten hurt, thank God, but,
right.
You kind of got to love that guy's spirit in a sense.
Sure.
And I don't mean to glorify it or whatever, but, that's kind of cool. He's got a jetpack and he's just flying around showing everybody.
Maggie says, can't believe anyone trusts those things enough at 3,000 feet.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
That's like the guy who launched himself into the air with a steam-powered rocket twice.
Yeah, but the last time turned out to be the last time.
Gosh.
Yeah, it doesn't work good when you don't make it far off the earth and collide with the ground and your chute doesn't open. Yeah, I mean, geez, I watched enough Roadrunner to know that that's just not a good idea.
Right, yeah. I did learn physics from Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, you don't want to launch yourself on a rocket anywhere. But there you have it, folks. That has been a production of the news.
Oh, man.
So I'm going to just bring us out with the same way we came in.
Oh, boy. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Wow. That is so sexy. I don't even know what to say. That's better than we deserve, Don.
That's the only thing I can. For some reason, Barry White just kind of fights through that. Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know you like this. Jesus.
Well, I guess we all need a little Barry.
Little Isaac, too.
Little Isaac?
Yep.
All right. Well, we got a lot of things to cover here. Not sure what we're going to cover next, but that was kind of my whole show, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm out of ideas. No, I'm just kidding.
And we were early, so,
Yeah, we kind of get an early start.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. No, I'm just kidding. If you do want to call in, the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, the number will be appearing either right next to me on my bar here or Don's over there. And in any case, feel free to call in. If you have something paranormal you'd like to share, by all means, call us and share it. This is a sharing kind of show. Sharing is caring. So that's always a possibility. But I do have some things that I want to do here.
Oh?
Yes, I do. First up is a Bigfoot report. This is from rmsobigfoot.blogspot.com. This is Kelly Shaw's website. RMSO is a good site. I really respect Kelly because he gets out there and he really goes to places where things have happened, and I got to respect that. A lot of people just like me would sit here and go, hey, this is where something happened over there. And but Kelly actually gets out and goes to the places where a lot of historical Bigfoot encounters have happened. And he's got a lot of great work over there. So definitely stop by rmsobigfoot.blogspot.com and support what he's doing. There's lots of great stories over there and videos and stuff. So, but there's a story that we're going to be covering right now, and this is giant Palomar Sasquatch confronts 2 hikers. What is Palomar? Do you know? Is that a place?
Maybe it's Palomar.
Palomar? Okay. You know that?
I'm going to look.
Is that in Washington?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Oh, it says, he writes, hello, my name is Anthony. I live in Escondido, California. My story takes place on Palomar Mountain. Is that how you say it? Palomar?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, mountain within the state park. I was with my best friend Andrew, and we both were in our early 20s. Well, I was waiting on car parts, so we decided to go take a hike while we wait. Wow, that's ambitious. I just sit in those chairs. But these guys actually go out hiking.
They're hiking, wow.
Yeah. My story takes place on Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. We parked in Duane Pond, okay. And it was around 1 when we made it up there. In the parking lot was one other car. I chose Scott's Cabin as the hike worth taking. I was hoping it would take us to a peak, as I've never hiked it before. It was posted as 1.2 miles away. Andrew, unimpressed with the hike, takes us off trail, straight up, almost immediately. I'm in flip-flops, and I'm getting stabbed and covered in dirt by the thick brush. You go hiking in flip-flops. Yeah, I should have waited in the cushy chairs at the parts store. We come up to the edge of a ridge, and at the edge sits a perfect 3 to 4 foot circle of soft dirt. It overlooked the road but it was high enough up so you would be unlikely to see anything on it. We look curiously at the ground, puzzled by how this could be. Well, I'm in flip-flops, so I take a moment to feel the ground. Out of nowhere, we hear this loud, deep yell. Wasn't words, just a loud sound. We note it, but think, oh, well, that was at least 2 or 3 ridges up off the mountain over. The trail was close by, and after our adventures up, I was happy to be back on it. It was fall, so the pine cones were falling, but I pointed out some sounded a bit heavy, and fell too close to us to be pine cones. But we continued. Just before Scott's Cabin, you walk through these maze-like single-file walkway bushes. Although nothing happened here, it had this very uncomfortable feel. Tall and thick enough to not see through, thin enough that you could have probably stuck your arm through, something I've just always remembered. We continued on walking through those bushes, popping out of them, and looking up and to my left, a bunch of cut and stacked pieces of huge lumber. I think to myself, we made it. I walk to the right of the trail to see the view, and I take around 10 steps, look out. 10 steps, look out. Okay. It's an okay view. I think, where's Andrew? So I turn around to look for him, not feeling in any danger. I turn around, not super fast, but at a comfortable rate of speed. I turn around and something is already turned around, standing next to a tree within 40 feet of me. It distinctively jumps down and takes 6 big, heavy, monstrous steps, and nothing for a second. As this is happening, I'm yelling, I saw you, I saw you. Andrew asks, was that you? But quickly realizes I'm not in the direction of the noise he heard.
Oh.
When I'd walked to the right 10 steps or so off trail, he kept walking the trail, and at the point when I turned around, there was a large bush between us, so we could not see each other. We were about 20 feet away from each other when we came together back on the trail, no closer than 5 feet apart. Discussing what had just happened and should we leave being asked. Out of nowhere, a flattish rock between the size of a baseball and a softball lands between us, as if to say, I could have been right there. At a minimum of what I can remember, this rock had to be thrown from 15 feet below us. and 60 plus feet away with accuracy. We quickly gathered ourselves and headed down the mountain back to our car. There was not another incident on the way down. Yeah, that's got to be intense, though. That's got to be a really long walk after that. It happened in a split second. Burned into my memory is the image of a large black figure with a distinct V shape in its back. That V was white, and everything with the V was white. There was no visible head, as if it was below the large and wide shoulders. The shoulders, from shoulder to shoulder on top, had a distinct bow to it. I estimate that what I saw to be somewhere in the 7 feet, 500 pound range. The footsteps were so loud I cannot comprehend what would have made such heavy-footed noise. Each step, 300 to 400 pounds, just would not have made that thud. I worked with a 6'6", 330 pound man, and this was not that. I've been back to that spot twice since. The first time both Andrew and I went back, it took over 6 months, and we went back just to see if we could come close to the loudness of the footsteps we heard. We obviously could not. He got an Australian Shepherd in hopes of this happens again. She will let us know it's there. The second time I went back, there was a tree fort structure erected very close to the site that I stood at. I will include that photo, and to give you some size reference, I'm 5'8", 185, and you could easily fit two of me in it. Oh, okay. So it's kind of a lean-to. Not when it says tree fort, I was thinking something built up in a tree. But yeah, okay. I've ventured into different parts of the mountain using the truck trails. I've explored a particular part of the truck trail, and 4 of the 6 times I've come out with unexplainable stories. I've stopped returning. The first experience was the first time I encountered a tree structure with the woven sticks to make a shelter somewhere. There's a photo of it. The second time Andrew and I followed that same truck trail, we got to a dead end near the top. We were in a remote spot, no one for miles, and you couldn't hear a car. And out of nowhere, we hear something that sounds whoop at us, and it was so deep. I love music, and that was low-sounding like a truck.
Low-sounding like a truck.
Oh, like a truck. Needless to say, we left shortly after. The third experience was right around the area where I encountered my first tree structure. We encountered this awful smell, and I can only explain it as stand in a porter potty right over the full the full pooper and start taking big whiffs. It stopped us in our tracks. It was so putrid. We looked around but saw nothing. We kept going, and on our return past that same spot, no smell. Yeah, you were close. One of the last times I've been up there, I was at the same truck trail. I've encountered this before. I was by myself. You know that moment when you're going into the real unknown where there won't be another person and you can't call for help because you're just too far out there. I was teetering on that point. My initiation was, my intuition, I think you wanted to say. My intuition was screaming to turn around. I took 2 short videos of some very unexplainable footprints I found, and I don't show it well in the video, but it looks like something was above the trail on the side of the mountain, smashed some trees, jumped down onto the trail, and walks across it. Oh. I mean, you can see a footprint there, I guess, or an impression of some kind. I guess it could look like a foot. I wrote to the rangers attempting to be a little vague in hopes that they would take what I did say seriously, and I never did call. How do you tell a ranger? I was stalked by something I can't even explain. I write to you for selfish reasons. I hope that recounting it in detail, although scary at first, will help with healing. I was stalked by Bigfoot, and I had unexplainable encounters, and that's okay. I'm going to add a photo taken by Taken by Idlewild. It's unedited. You tell me what you think is in the sky. Clouds. So what I got, or is he talking about this stuff here? Maybe those are UFOs. Yeah, could be. All right. there you have it. I don't know. Somebody below that, Chris Silvata, says, I live near here and have hiked these trails and driven the truck trails. I haven't seen anything unusual, but an old-timer who grew up in Escondido told me his buddy saw one standing in the middle of Coal Grade Road near Palomar Mountain late at night.
Huh.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if it's a mountainous area, you got a good a chance as anywhere of seeing one, I guess.
Right. Well, here's one from the BFRO, actually.
Okay.
In the same area. It was not long ago. Does sound... Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
It says, this is from the BFR 1988, San Diego County. It says, not so long ago, I don't remember the name of the area on Palomar Mountain where we camped. I do remember being able to look down the mountain to see a road and a cow catcher on it. Observed, in 1988, my girlfriend and I were tent camping in Palomar Mountain with another couple. After the first night, they left and decided to spend one more night. We decided to spend one more night into the late afternoon, and we were feeling like we were being watched, which persisted until we decided to turn in. After settling down in our tent and being quiet for about a half an hour, we heard fast footsteps run through our camp. They were very heavy footfalls, like from a heavy man's, and sounded like someone running flat-footed in boots.
Oof.
I thought it might be a man, but why is a man running through my camp in dark in a moonless night? My girlfriend was asleep, so she didn't hear. I was still awake and feeling uneasy. Since it kept running, I decided not to venture outside to take a look. Nothing else occurred that night. He went to sleep soon after. So apparently over in that area, there's a lot of movement. So there you go.
Wow.
Yep, corroborating evidence.
Absolutely. That's pretty incredible. And we might do that tonight. We might go through some BFRO reports if you guys have any areas you'd like us to check out. You kind of got to wait till we do it, though. But in the chat, just give us a state and a county, and we can reference the BFRO and see what's happening.
Dazed and confused.
Huh?
State and county. Dazed and confused.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay. But I'm not too knowledgeable about that stuff.
Whatever.
I'm never dazed and confused, Don.
Whatever.
Just confused.
Rummy and dumb. Been reading too much legalese today.
Yeah, no kidding,
Burn
man.
my
It about
brain
melted
cells.
my head. All right. So that was a good article, though. But I think that's RMSO's a good site.
Yeah,
And
I
again,
kind of like that site, yeah.
I do too. And I think there's such a bunch of information on there. There really is a ton of information on RMSO. And you can find it by going to rmsobigfoot.blogspot.com. And there's just so much going on here. So definitely check it out. Help support what he's doing. And you're gonna walk away from it with more than you came in. I'll guarantee you that. It's just really well done. So that is another fun thing. There's one other article here. Well, I've got a lot of different things to go through, but I gotta find it. Here it is. I thought this was kind of neat, and this is a kind of from a different vein of interest, but it's talking about Hyperborea. Have you heard of that, Don?
Doesn't ring any bells off.
It's a legendary place that's apparently the homeland of the gods and the land of giants. And so I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Hyperborea. So we're going to read through this article. Hopefully it's interesting. I didn't write it, so I can't be held responsible for the content. But I thought, well, that's interesting because, a lot of legends are born in some kind of truth. There's some kind of merit to whatever spawned the legends of these things. Maybe there is a land or an area, a continent that was visited where they found, largish people or humanoids or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it was Sasquatch. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to read about Hyperborea.
Okay.
This is coming from curiosmos.com. And it says 30 things you should know about Hyperborea, home place of the gods and land of giants. So let's check it out. This was written by Ivan Petricevic.
Yeah, we've read his stuff before.
Petricevic, yeah.
Well, you've attempted to read his stuff
I think,
before.
yeah, Ivan Petricevic. I think it's some kind of Slavic name or something. But Hyperborea is considered the home place of the gods and lands to the north and the rival of mighty Atlantis. Legends, myths, and even ancient texts suggest that before written history, before modern history, ancient civilizations existed around the globe.
No doubt there.
One such civilization, according to myths and legends, is said to have developed in Hyperborea, a land mentioned by several authors in classical antiquity. Their history and existence have been shrouded in mystery, and their true origin is engulfed in legend. And again, on this show, we've covered story after story of these artifacts that come from somewhere, and they're way modern, and they don't fit in with where we believe the existing peoples at that time were technologically. Machined aluminum, there's components that are turning up, hammers embedded into rock, and so there's these artifacts. What are they called? Ooparts?
Ooparts, yep.
Yep, out of place artifacts.
Yep.
Those are coming from somewhere, folks, and they are literally hundreds of millions of years old, if what we're reading is accurate. And so something existed here long before what we know existed, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to find out that there were these advanced civilizations like Atlantis, like Hyperborea, or other such things that at one time did exist. But anyway, one of the most fascinating stories is that of Hyperborea's land, which was said to rival the mythical Atlantis. It was the home place of the gods and land for which the ancient Greek historians were extremely interested. In this article, we gathered 30 fascinating points about Hyperborea that you should not miss out on. Mythical land. The inhabitants of the land of Hyperborea were a mythical race of giants. To the Greeks, these mighty beings inhabited a land beyond the north wind. Pindar, a Greek poet, described the Hyperboreans' otherworldly perfection. Never the muse is absent from their ways. Lyres clash, flutes cry, and everywhere maiden choruses whirling. Neither disease nor bitter old age is mixed in their sacred blood. Far from labor and battle they live. Greek historians were convinced that the Boreas, the gods of the north wind, lived in a land called Thrace, and Hyperborea was a region that was located far to the north of Thrace. According to Pausanias, the land of the Hyperboreans, men were living beyond the home of the Boreas. Hyperborea was identified with Britain first by Hecataeus of Abdera in the 4th century BC. Hecataeus of Abdera also described how Hyperboreans constructed on their land a magnificent sacred precinct of Apollo and a notable temple adorned with many votive offerings and is spherical in shape. Curiously, some scholars have identified this temple as Stonehenge. I was thinking the same thing. That's funny as I was reading it. Hyperborea and what we know. Greek lyric poet Alcaeus, 600 BC, sang of the actual or mystical journey of Apollo to the land of the Hyperboreans. O King Apollo, son of great Zeus, whom thy father did furnish forth at thy birth with the golden headband and lyre of a shell, and giving thee moreover a swan drawn chariot to drive, would have thee go to Delphi. The descriptions of Hyperborea suggest it was a perfect land. There the sun shines 24 hours a day. That really does sound up north. During the midnight sun time of the year, the sun remains visible at the local midnight. The description of Hyperborea has led some authors to suggest that Hyperborea may have been an area of land referred to in ancient times, located somewhere within the Arctic Circle. According to Hyperborea's ancient accounts, the sun supposedly rose and set only once a year in Hyperborea. Certain esoteric belief systems and spiritual traditions suggest that Hyperborea was the terrestrial and celestial beginning of civilization. It was considered the original home place of the gods, and some authors even suggest it may have been the original Garden of Eden, the point where the earthly and heavenly planes meet. Madame Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophical Society, claimed the second root race originated in Hyperborea, before the latter races of Lemuria and Atlantis. The earliest source mentioning the mighty land of the Hyperboreans in detail appears in Herodotus's Histories, which dates from circa 450 BC. Despite Hyperborea's description appearing in Herodotus's Histories, that's a mouthful, Herodotus's Histories book, Greek author recorded 3 earlier sources that supposedly mention the Hyperboreans, including Hesiod and Homer, the latter purportedly having written of Hyperborea as in his lost work, the Epigony. Herodotus also wrote that the 7th century BC poet Aristeas wrote of the Hyperboreans in a poem now lost called Arimaspea, about a journey to the Essidines, estimated to have lived in the the Kazakh steppe. I could have moved in. However, Hyperborea was mentioned by a number of Herodotus' contemporaries, including Pindar, Simon of Ceos, Hellanicus of Lesbos, and during the 5th century BC. Does it appear in here? I don't know. Okay. Guess not. Oh, no, we don't want that. On this 1570 map, Hyperborea is shown as an Arctic continent and described as Terra Septentrionalis Incognita, unknown northern land. Notice the similarities in the continent to that of Mercator's map above. Okay. Is that what it is? Okay. There you go. Despite the fact that Hyperborea's exact location remained a profound mystery, many early authors suggest that Hyperboreans lived somewhere in a land beyond the snowy Riffian Mountains. The exact location of the Riffian Mountains remains a mystery, despite being mentioned by some classical antiquity authors, Apollonius of Rhodes, Aristotle, Hecataeus, Hippocrates, Ptolemy, Plutarch, and others. Their location has never been revealed, leading modern authors to suggest these mountains were part of an even larger myth. What if it was more of, maybe it didn't, quote unquote, exist as part of the world as we know it, but maybe these ancient peoples could kind of come and go to somewhere else.
Kind of like a rainbow bridge?
Yeah, maybe like, the Asgardian rainbow bridge, right?
The Bifrost.
Yep. Maybe there was some waypoint or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that was something of what Stonehenge was, and it brought you to the Hyperborea or something. The exact location. Oh wait, I already read that. During the 2nd century AD, Stoic philosopher Hierocles suggested that the Hyperboreans were connected to the Scythians, and how the Riffian Mountains were in fact the Ural Mountains. Oh, so that'd be up by Russia and Mongolia. Curiously, the Ural Mountains in Russia are home to a number of massive ancient structures. Thanks to descriptions given by Strabo, Hyperborea was depicted as a peninsula or land located somewhere beyond modern-day France, stretching further south than east and west. Hyperborea was one of several terrae incognitae, together with Thule, where many ancient writers reported that people had extremely longevous lives, lived up to 1,000 years, Don,
Wow.
and enjoyed a life full of happiness. I'm ready. Take me. I'm going to Hyperborea. John G. Bennett, a British mathematician, scientist, technologist, industrial research director, and author, wrote a research paper dubbed The Hyperborean Origin of the Indo-European Culture, where he claimed that the Indo-European homeland was located in the farther north, which he considered the Hyperborea of classical antiquity. Well, that could be. I mean, imagine some of the Nords were huge, weren't they?
Right.
By ancient standards.
Right.
I mean, they would look like giants to a lot of the smaller European cultures and such, right?
That could be true. Yeah, very true.
So maybe there's something to that. According to the classical Greek poet Pindar, neither by ship nor on foot would you find the marvelous road to the assembly of Hyperboreans. See, there you go. Not by ship, not on foot. Maybe that's the link saying that this is some kind of a gateway or something,
Yeah,
right?
sure, absolutely.
Ancient Greek legends tell us that the Boreades, who were the descendants of the Boreas, created the first theocratic monarchy in Hyperborea. The legend is well preserved in the work of Aelin, Roman author and teacher of rhetoric. This god, Apollon, has a priests, the sons of Boreas, North Wind, and Shion, snow, 3 in number, brothers by birth, and 6 cubits in height, about 3 meters, so about 9 feet tall.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow, that's interesting because, the whole ancient giants thing is like everywhere, isn't it?
Right.
So there's the Americas version, and as our friend Naysay has told us that the Anishinaabe people were legendarily like 7 feet average.
Right.
So the Boreades were believed to be giant kings around 10 feet tall who ruled Hyperborea. Other than being alleged giants, they weren't any other physical descriptions of the Hyperboreans.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Well, there you go, folks. So are these places that will be discovered, or are they something else? Maybe dimensional. Maybe the ancient people, we know through ancient surviving records of sorts that sound was used in a very technological way in the past.
Right.
That there was many things that were lost to time, and maybe there was an ability of people to traverse realities.
Well, absolutely. It baffles me how people. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Odie about this the other day. Remember Odie from chat the other night?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him at work, and he brought that up. He's like, "Well, what do you think about the idea of ancient civilizations?" I said, it's just as it's in my opinion, it's more plausible than alien intervention. However, I don't want to take that out of the equation, though.
Sure.
But he was talking about specifically about these megalithic buildings that were put together with these ton upon ton upon ton of weight of monolithic stone.
Yeah.
And they have what seems to be some kind of melted or welded or some kind of seal to it that you cannot pass a piece of paper through. And so you look at these things, and there's got to be something more in our past history. I didn't bring up O-parts with them, but that's a great idea. Artifacts out of time.
Right.
And so, what's to say? I mean, this is all prehistory.
Right.
And that's modern prehistory. It's not even history. It's just not even antiquity. It's far past that.
Right.
You're talking about like the London hammer, 3 million years old. It's
300.
300 million.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's starting to turn into carbon.
Yep.
It's starting to turn into coal. You talk about, there's the spark plug that's found in 3 million old slag.
Yep.
Is it possible that a spark plug from the 1920s, 1930s,
Sure,
shows up in the slag? No, it's not probable at all, actually.
right.
So yeah, I mean and we talked about Baghdad batteries. If you look at some of the hieroglyphs, there seems to be some kind of a battery operated light in the longboat that's taking somebody across the land of the dead. So there are all these things that we know about, that we see that point to an older civilization that we have no clue as to what it might have been, whether it be Lemuria or Atlantis or Hyperborea.
Yep.
So who's to say? I mean, they know these things. It's very well hypothesized that these places were real. These people were real. They were advanced more than we are now.
Yeah.
And so, that's just the way it is.
Or at least differently. They're different, like
we are not the same.
No, but it seems like you're absolutely right that there was at least an understanding or a technology that kind of developed in a different way than ours did, and seems to be something that maybe was much more in tune with the world around them.
Well, and if you believe in the cataclysmic events, that's could be the reason why we don't see any real proof that there were ancient civilizations. The advanced, let me throw that in there.
Right.
Advanced ancient civilizations, because we know that the crust of the earth moves, and if it moves in such a way, it becomes cataclysmic. North would become east or west, depending on. South would become opposite. Now, that's not necessarily the flipping of the crust. However, when you got you remember the gyro yo-yos?
Could bounce them on a string. Or
yeah, exactly. Yep. And so, think about that. If the core of the earth is a molten ball of something,
right.
whatever that is, and you have ice and stuff slipping around the core of it, things move in opposite direction. Things move in weird directions.
Sure.
We know that the magnetic north is moving south. We know that. Yeah. So it's only a question of when. 15,000 years ago, there was a small the little ice age.
Mm-hmm.
Glaciers tore across the northwest and down through the Palouse in the area we're in, and creating these vast chasms of just moved earth. It's just amazing.
Right.
So cataclysmic events can easily explain why we can't find these places. But we find these breadcrumbs, mm-hmm. as you like to call them. You can't discount it. You can't.
Right.
But science can't prove it. But then again, the science is never settled. I don't care who you are. The science is never settled.
Especially about this stuff. I mean, where there's only fragments of some distant past, and how they got there. What's the story behind them? It's anybody's guess. But I still think that they do seem to illustrate that there was a whole other history or histories that have happened in the course of this planet and this world. We're just living the one now.
Yeah, we're just living in our current ancient time.
Yeah, and it seems like maybe there are reboots that happen.
True,
maybe there's these reboots, whether it's a mud flood or if it's an ice age or any number of other things that seem to just descend upon the earth and reshape it.
Right.
But those are almost like reboot events. Like, okay, well, let's scrub this and let's restart it.
Well,
see what happens.
and if you follow what the Bible says, the deluge, 40 days and 40 nights,
sure.
And just because God said, I'll never flood you out again, doesn't mean he wouldn't do something else.
Next time, it's a meteor.
And it doesn't mention anything about, and think about this. What if you want to go that direction, what if aliens are actually, in a way, the angels and the fallen angels?
Yeah, so, I've heard that's a possibility.
Yeah, but I digress. But, what's to say that there wasn't a previous civilization that we have absolutely no idea about?
Yeah, and as Ron said in the chat, we have plenty of examples of things like time slips and stuff that happen to people now.
Yeah.
And people passing through what appears to be portals and finding themselves somewhere else. So there seems to be ample, at least anecdotal evidence that things like this do exist. It's kind of hard to wrap our heads around it because, we have this real westernized, grounded idea of what reality is. But
because that's what science says.
Follow the science. But there's obviously much more going on here. And that's what I love about the paranormal is it's these demonstrations of a whole different kind of reality that does happen here. And we don't understand it. We don't know what it is, but it threatens the knowledge of what we have of our world. And that is the hubris of science.
That's the hubris of man, period.
Yeah, you're right. It's
don't matter.
Entirely mankind kind of stuff. Okay. So, did I read this one? Yes, I did. I did read this one. I knew I was going to. This was I talked about Paul Hellyer and stuff.
Oh,
this
I missed that one. That was Saturday night.
Yeah, that would have been Saturday's show. And I read this one, but I didn't read This one.
Oh.
All right. Here's one in the UFO vein, folks, that we're going to talk about now, and this is coming from alienstar.net. This is a newer site that I've kind of just stumbled onto more lately. But this one is going to talk about orbs, and I find orbs to be incredibly interesting. And I have seen 2 orbs in my own life. I think they were spiritual orbs or some kind of energetic orb. I don't believe that necessarily they were part of extraterrestrial, advanced probing or whatever. Or that didn't sound right. Investigating. I don't believe that. I mean, they could have been. I really don't know what I saw or how to explain what I saw, but they were literally these little balls of light both times that I've seen it with my own eyes, not with a camera or anything, just to put it in context. But these orbs represent a phenomenon that's happening all over the world, whether it's in the skies or if it's just in the woods. There's a lot of woodland orbs that are observed, and they're going through forests. I think many people have observed those, and what they are, we don't know. But here's an article I found that talks about the orbs, and I think it's in relation to UFOs, but let's take a look at this article from alienstate.net. Mysterious orb UFO phenomena. What exactly is this phenomena and how experts explain it?
Oh my gosh.
It's already talking with experts, right?
Yeah, which are people who know more and more about less and less until they know absolutely everything about absolutely nothing.
There you go. It should be a t-shirt.
Advanced probing. Yes, Elaine. Advanced probing.
Thanks for remembering that. I appreciate that.
That's going to become one, I hope.
Yeah,
so.
that'll probably be a t-shirt too.
Advanced probing.
I'm not subject to advanced probing.
He may like it, but
I need
he's
dinner.
not subjected to it.
I need dinner first.
A whining and a dining.
Right. Let's go to this article here. And this is from May 12th, 2022. And it says, if you're familiar with the term orb UFO, here's a little primer to help you understand this perplexing concept. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to this world than meets the eye, and I don't just mean that metaphorically. Because our eyes can only sense a limited portion of the light spectrum, many things stay hidden from us or are beyond our comprehension, owing to the limitations imposed by our bodies. It was recently revealed that there is a whole planet of UFOs coexisting with ours, and they have the ability to appear in our dimension when we can see them with our naked sight, but they are usually concealed from us and can only be seen via specific light filters.
You know what just popped into my head?
What?
The fan theory that the Flintstones are living on the Earth, that the Jetsons are living above.
Oh.
And so could you imagine, that's what we're actually seeing with these orbs, mm-hmm. is like, George Jetson coming down into the atmosphere. Whoops, I'm not supposed to be below the cloud layer.
Or his boy Elroy, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Daughter
Elroy.
Judy or Jane the wife?
Jane the wife. Sorry.
But anyway, this is going to be talking about orbs. So the phenomenon is 100% genuine, and it might involve true extraterrestrial vessels, artificial intelligence, the military, biological organisms, and the capacity to fly, or even humans that live on Earth. Even humans?
Yeah, well, the jetpack man.
Oh, yeah, carrying flashlights.
Yeah, exactly.
They got flashlights. It's just jetpack men on flashlights. The stunning sightings, sometimes referred to as orb UFOs, are executing weird rituals in the sky that are beyond our comprehension. The orb UFOs were also recorded changing, firing at chemtrails. That's true, I've heard of that. And even releasing more little orbs in addition to their dynamic movement at incredible speeds. They appear to be drawn to great energy fluxes, with some appearing above, inside massive thunderstorms, while others appear to like the energy created by large crowds during music festivals, meditating sessions, and so on. After witnessing a strange UFO encounter, UFO enthusiasts and analyst Jim Martin decided to update his gear and begin hunting UFOs in order to better understand what is going on. He was able to capture multiple UFOs performing various stunts around his residence using a full-spectrum camera and other sophisticated lenses and filters. That's actually a good idea. The whole full spectrum, I think, would be great because, again, my experience, I could only see the saucer in IR.
Right.
So I couldn't observe it with my own eyes. So it was just luck of the draw. Maybe it was predestined, whatever. But if I had not had night vision binoculars, I would never have seen that. I would have never had any clue it was there. So pretty incredible. After some time, he wanted to share all his newfound information with the rest of the world, so he narrated a short but incredibly instructive film about this rapidly escalating issue. I'm going to leave a link to this in the chat so you guys can check out the video aspects of this article as well. The orb UFO's behavior varies from sighting to sighting, but they all have basic characteristics like pulsing light that expands and then swiftly shuts in, okay, as well as dynamic movement, which is really astounding achievement because none of our earthly craft can manage it. Speaking of craft, it's worth noting that ground radars have failed to identify any of the unusual UFOs, adding credence to the theory that they're extraterrestrial in origin. Their origins are still unknown, but based on what we've observed, they appear to return to Earth rather than escaping into space. Is it possible for them to live here on Earth? Is it feasible that this planet contains hidden extraterrestrial bases?
Oh, really? Really?
Well,
Really? Come on.
right. I'm just saying. I'm just reading the article. When we consider all the uncharted and inaccessible regions on the globe and the fact that civilization has bonded us together inside of industrialized cities, our daily exploration range is near to zero. I feel it's likely to be so. So what's the deal with these wacky UFOs? And what may their role be in our planet? Are these guardian spirits or even biological entities that lived here on Earth long before mankind made it their home? That's interesting.
Advanced ancient civilizations?
Yeah, right. There you go.
There you
Maybe.
go. Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, because more and more people are drawn to this phenomena, the truth may be eventually emerge, and we, along with the rest of the world, will hopefully be ready to accept a new way of life while deleting and rewriting the old. So it's more of a kind of an overview of it, but I'm going to take this link and give it to you guys in the chat. There is some video elements that you can check out that appear to contain also the research that guy is doing, which I think could be fun to watch. I haven't watched it personally. But it is in the chat if you guys want to check that out after the show. Not now.
After show, of course.
After the show. So it's an interesting take. I think these things are hard to understand. I don't know that it's just one thing going on.
Right.
It's kind of like if you see a hummingbird and you see an eagle, you obviously know those are two different things.
Right.
If you see a pterodactyl, or a hang glider, that's something else too, or an airplane.
Right.
So just because there are similarities in the mechanics of what you're observing doesn't mean they're the same things. And I do believe that there could be just energetic entities, things that exist, can be seen, but they are probably more esoteric or spiritual in nature than they are physical. But just by virtue of being an energy, I guess they would be spiritual, but in our context of understanding. But they may just be some other possibility. I just had a thought recently. I might have got this from somewhere else. I don't know. It just popped into my head like a million other things go through my head, and sometimes things come to my mind. It's like, I don't know if this is my idea or someone else's. I may have heard it somewhere, so I don't mean to plagiarize somebody else's thoughts. What if these things that we see are perhaps fourth dimensional entities that are being observed in our three-dimensional world? So in other words, what if some of this stuff that we see, like orbs, like ghosts and such, or spiritual entities that maybe aren't human, what if they're in fact fourth dimensional entities that are being observed in our three-dimensional understanding and awareness?
Okay, so first I have to ask the question: define the three dimensions.
By length, height, width, whole.
And what is the fourth dimension?
Time.
Time. Time is a construct.
But is there time? And so if there is a fourth dimension, let's say it's not the traditional understanding. What if it's frequency is what my point is.
Oh.
So like a fourth or fifth dimensional entity would exist in a frequency that's not quite in sync with ours.
Right. Yeah, well, absolutely. But the question I have is, what would a time being look like? You know, because we know what a 3D being looks like, we know what a 2D being looks like, and we know what a 1D being looks like.
Right.
But that's because we can fathom these things, because things of the fourth and fifth dimension are harder to grasp because they are so foreign to just everything. Because there's the tale of the Flatlanders. It was something that somebody wrote a long time ago to explain 2D and 3D. Flatlanders have width and height, or width and they have width and height.
Oh, sure.
But they have no depth.
Right.
So everything they see is on a flat plane.
Right.
So if you look over here, there's a red line here, there's a red line here, there's a red line here, and there's a blue line over here, and this is mom, dad, and that's, cousin it, right?
Sure.
That's all they can see. But when you introduce something from a third dimension, now the only thing you're going to see is this. If you can imagine that, you're going to see something moving down through your two dimensions and giving it height. Right. So it's really so what would a fourth dimension being look like? I don't think there would be necessarily a being. I think it would be like you said, maybe more an energy
frequency,
a frequency kind of thing, because time is kind of fluid. Well, but I mean, we measure things by time, but I'm not very philosophically.
No, I think I understand what you're saying.
But though. I mean, I mean, if it's from a fifth dimension, because we're supposed to be exploring this, or we're supposed to be experiencing a fifth dimension now, and that maybe we've already passed through to it, or some of us have and some of us haven't. But yeah, that's reasonable to say. It is a being from a different dimension that we are catching in those sideways glances. Right. So we can't quite perceive its full reality, but we can perceive a part of it that just happens to be in phase with us. Like that piece of the height that's coming down from the third dimension person. So imagine a ball. If a ball came down through two dimensions, it would be smaller, and then it would get bigger. Yeah. And then it would get smaller again. Right. But that's all they would see. They'd only see this much of it. They wouldn't see the whole circumference.
Yep. So. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's an interesting thought. Again, I don't know if that was mine or if I picked it up somewhere or it's just something that just clicked in my head finally. But I don't know. It's an interesting thought because there's so many different varied phenomena that seems to exhibit similar traits. And are they indeed similar, or are they indeed very different? I mean, is it fourth dimensional entities, fifth dimensional entities? I think there's, how many dimensions are there? 11 or something that are mathematically proven. Right. So what would that look like to our third dimensional viewing? Right. And maybe it's some of this stuff. Maybe this is where these advanced races are coming from, and they oftentimes people talk of them being multidimensional, and so maybe they have the ability to shift back and forth. Right. Maybe they appear etherical or could walk through our three-dimensional objects because they're not really in phase with them.
Well, that's another thing you can think of too, is like some people, so think of old haunted houses that have had their interiors redone. They've removed walls, or they've taken down that stairway and they moved it over there, and they put a door here and removed it from there. So people say, well, I don't know how these footsteps move through my house because there's a wall there. Right. Well, maybe when that being was living there wasn't a wall there. What if the stairs that you hear thump, thump, thump over here, that there's no stairs? So think of it that way as well. Things have moved. The crust of the world has moved. Maggie says, if you look into 2D, it becomes easier to understand how we would be blind to a higher dimension. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So all you would see is that sphere coming through the two dimensions, going from small to big to small again. Right. So But Edwin A. Abbott, that sounds right, Rachel. Yeah. Flatlanders. Yeah.
I love the idea of thinking of these things and trying to postulate what's going on, because again, this is all about me on a journey to try to understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's there's something to that. It just feels right. I don't know, just on an intuitive level. But I did paste that link, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Okay, so it's in there if you want to check out some of the orbs orb information, and you can certainly look into it. and see what you think. Maybe there's something to it. Let me just close this. Where are we at?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Did you see this?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I was talking about it's 8:15 already. It's
Oh,
8:15 local. Sorry.
Yeah, for
Because
us.
Maggie's like, ha, 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 suckers. It's already Thursday afternoon. Right.
Maggie's in prime time, and we're all up here we're a day late and a dollar short. This one is a different one, and it kind of is a takeoff of what Paul Hellier was talking about in his contributions to the whole disclosure movement, talking about the many different races that of these extraterrestrials that are allegedly in contact or living here.
Wow, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, what?
Wonder Woman says aliens could be trying to get back in touch with their lost humanness.
Sure.
Too much AI in their history.
Maybe.
Wow, that's kind of a, yeah.
That's kind of a mind bake. Yeah, absolutely. It's anybody's guess.
Hi,
but-
Naysay. Your birthday was on Friday. Was it Friday last week? Or was it Wednesday last week? Hi, Naysay. Happy belated birthday. Or
happy name recognition
name
day.
recognition day. There you go.
We have to speak fluent Naysay. So, all right. So the next one up is another one having to do with extraterrestrials. In a little bit of a different vein, and this is ones that I was going to cover on last Saturday's show, but we had some amazing call-ins, we skipped it, but that's okay. I love the call-ins.
I'm going to have to put together a podcast with a bunch of call-ins because we've had a bunch in the last couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
both Friday and Saturday
I'm
shows.
going to have to grab some of those out.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go with another article, and this is from collectivespark.xyz. Never seen that.
PDQ?
No, it's xyz.xyz.
XYZ PDQ?
I don't know what that means.
Examine your zipper.
Oh.
Oh, no.
All right. No, I never knew that one. Thanks for teaching me. Thanks for corrupting me, Don. All right. Collective Spark is the site. Again, .xyz. It's collective-spark. And this is article 36. Alien races live in the Milky Way, and humans are composed of 22 different alien races, says famous astronaut.
Would not surprise me of that either.
So, are we constructs of some higher intelligences?
Oh, 22 different alien races. How many chromosomes does everybody have? 23. What if we had 22 chromosomes of alien races, and the 23rd is what makes us human?
Maybe true. All right, let's see what this is. I don't know who to attribute this to. There's no author. Yeah, there is. Ansh Survastava, Infinity Explorers. And it says, it's believed that only one intelligent species exists on Earth, and that's Homo sapiens, modern humans. However, there are hypotheses that other intelligent entities exist in our solar system and on Earth, living among us. According to the University of Nottingham, there must be at least 30 active extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy. However, the critical question is, did any of them attempt to contact Earth's inhabitants? Well, good question. And let's see what he says. Let me blow this up a little bit. It needs to be bigger. Oh. Anyway, it is believed that only one intelligent species exists on Earth, which I already read. However, its critical question is, did any of them attempt to contact Earth's inhabitants? Well, no official records of the same exists among us. However, a few government officials have verbally verified the extraterrestrial contact and their regular visits to the planet. In 1837, a Scottish scientist, Thomas Dick, estimated that there are at least 22 billion aliens living on every surface in the solar system. Other sources indicated 22 trillion. He had a grand idea, which was to construct a massive triangle or ellipsis of several miles in extent in Siberia or any other country for aliens to observe with the unassisted eyes. Though it may seem completely ludicrous, such thoughts assist the human consciousness in expanding its exploration of the enormous universe. Additionally, there are reports of artificial structures being discovered in various locations throughout the solar system. I've never heard of them. The narrative popularly referred to as the Great Moon Hoax was published in the New York Sun on 1835 under the pseudonym of astronomer John Herschel. Claiming to have discovered life on the moon, Herschel reportedly built a massive telescope in South Africa and that magnified the celestial bodies up to 42,000 times. He saw enormous monsters and humans on the moon when he pointed at it. The story later became that the world's most famous media hoax. However, is this the case? Dr. Nolan discussed UFOs, alien civilizations, crashed materials, and possession of UFO materials in a podcast with Lex Friedman, a research scientist and lecturer at MIT. Friedman asked Dr. Nolan, "How many alien civilizations are there in the universe?" He replied, "Innumerable. I would just be surprised. What a waste of all that space just for us. What kinds of empires have risen and fallen across the space that we'll never know about? And isn't that sad to not know about something so grand? Could any alien race be in contact with a human race? Contact with intelligent life other than humans is not just a modern conspiracy, but is mentioned in the ancient texts. Sumerian texts likely hint at the supernatural beings, the Anunnaki, that came from heaven. This was even highlighted by former Apollo astronaut Al Worden. We are the aliens, but we just think that they are somebody else. But we are the ones who came from somewhere else because somebody else had to survive. And they got into a little spacecraft, and then they came here, landed, and they started civilization here. And if you don't believe me, go get books on ancient Sumerians and see what they had to say. They'll tell you right up front. That's from Al Worden. The CIA declassified around 12 million pages of information in 2017, exposing previously unknown details about the program dubbed the Stargate Project. The CIA documents detail one experiment in which the project's most prominent medium, Joseph McGonigal, had promised an astral voyage to Mars approximately 1 million years BC in 1984. He was able to observe the civilization that existed on the red planet at the time. I just kept seeing very large people. They appeared thin and tall, but they're very large, wearing some kind of strange clothes, McGonigal said. Another account of the encounter comes from the late John Lear, a CIA pilot. Lear discussed a July 1987 incident in which a massive UFO allegedly tracked a cargo jet over Anchorage, that's the Japan Airlines one, Alaska, and a 1975 incident in which UFOs allegedly lingered over Strategic Air Command sites. In an interview for On the Record, a 30-minute television show broadcast on KLAS TV in Las Vegas in late summer '87, investigative journalist George Knapp questioned Lear about the church's position on UFOs. The problem is not only just the fact that there are 5 and as many as 10 different civilizations visiting us. Apparently, and this is from the research that I've done, at least 90% of them are hostile. And when I say hostile, if not hostile, they have a completely different set of morals than we do. That's from Lear. Lear made several assertions during his interview with the Coast to Coast AM radio programs that may be difficult for anyone to accept. He stated that in 1953, a UFO collided with an extraterrestrial named EBE-3, who assisted the U.S. government in developing alien technology spacecraft. Right. Then he stated that in 1962, a craft capable of traveling at amazing speeds was constructed to transport passengers and deliver them to the moon in less than 60 minutes.
Right.
NASA launched a mission to Mars in 1966. What's more, humans there were adapted to breathe in that thin atmosphere. Additionally, John Lear states that NASA astronauts visited Mars in 1966. Additionally, Lear felt that astronauts had been preparing for this journey for an extended period of time. They injected various medications into humans to avoid or to aid in their adaptation to Martian climate conditions. According to NASA, because the astronauts could breathe rarefied Martian air, NASA was able to launch humans to the red planet for an extended period of time. Another case sheds additional light on the human origins. Alex Collier, a well-known alien contactee, who claimed to have been in contact with aliens from the constellation Andromeda for over 30 years. Their relationship lasted decades and involved many trips to alien spaceships and psychic connections. Numerous well-known UFO enthusiasts regarded Alex as believable, at least in the sense that he attempts to relay as much information as possible regarding his contacts with the Andromedans. According to Alex Collier, his first meeting with the Andromedans occurred in 1964. He had been in frequent and persistent communication with them since 1985. In 1993, he began attending seminars where he began sharing with the public the information he acquired from the aliens. In 1997, he received a threat from unknown individuals ordering that he cease distributing the material. He took it really seriously and remained silent until 2002. Collier stated that his last lecture before retiring from the UFO lecture circuit in 2002, that the ancient alien race known as the Founders were responsible for creating the environments on planets and making them habitable. According to the Andromedans and the Pleiadians, this ancient race is known as the Pa'atal. Pa'atal?
Yep.
Okay. He even stated that the aliens are capable of removing moons in order to shift the planet's orbit around the sun in order to regulate the amount of radiation. According to reports, Andromedans are capable of creating a solar system. Collier asserts that humans are comprised of 22 extraterrestrial races. In 1994, he stated in an interview that all human existence originated from the constellation Lyra. He stated that the Andromedan aliens were identical to humans in every manner. They stood between 4 to 8 feet tall and possessed white and blue skin. He even discussed the missing children, the impending New World Order, the evil force's grip over world leaders, the presence of reptilian aliens, our religions, and the Earth and the universe's history. Man, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Conceding the Collier case, there may be some truth in the statement made by former Canadian Minister of Defense Paul Hellyer that aliens not only exist, but are present on Earth among humans. He stated that 4 alien species have been visiting Earth for thousands of years. Paul Hellyer, who possessed high government authority during the Cold War in the 1960s, claimed to have discovered for definitive the existence of aliens during his military service. According to him, aliens have been visiting the Earth for millennia. The behavior of extraterrestrials towards humans is classified into 2 categories, positive and negative.
Wow, that's pretty scientific.
Yeah, he really cut down the middle of that one. In the instance of astronaut Edgar Mitchell, the aliens are described as nonviolent, whereas Lear describes them as hostile. Humans have come into contact with both friendly and hostile alien civilizations. Again, I don't know. I don't know if I buy the whole hostile thing, but William Tompkins, 1923 to 2017, was one of the most secretive scientists in the United States, talked about the role of alien intelligence in a secret space program in his book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, My Life in the Top Secret World of UFOs, Think Tanks, and the Nordic Secretaries. He addressed 2 distinct alien species, Draco, whose stated goal was to eradicate mankind from the planet, and the Nordics, who aided the U.S. in launching the Apollo program. And that's it. So, very interesting. Is there merit to this? I don't even know where to begin. Do I believe it's possible? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think there could very well be here. They might be living in our neighborhoods and shopping at the same stores and all that.
Drinking soured milk.
Drinking soured milk.
Getting drunk on soured milk.
From
rats.
V. Remember that V?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So is it possible? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if it says in there, that, it's possible that we're a derivative of 22 different races. And I want to make my assertion one more time that the 23rd chromosome is what gives us our humanity.
That's right.
So there you go.
Which brings us to this gem, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up. It's going to be good.
Oh, is this?
Kind of had a weird look on his face, and he said to me, can we go in your office and talk? I brought him into my office, and he says, something really weird happened here yesterday, and you weren't here. He said, there's a couple guys in here looking for you. And I said, a couple guys? What do you mean? And he said, well, this is really hard for me to say. He said, but there's a couple really strange-looking men that were here, and they kind of freaked everybody out, and they were asking questions about you. And, of course, now I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, they were, he goes, I don't know how to describe them except for extremely odd-looking. They were really, really tall. He said, and they were identical height. They were the exact same height. They were wearing the exact same clothes, and they had the exact same faces, like they were twins. And he said they were wearing black suits, black trench coats. They were wearing like the old-fashioned fedora hats. They had extremely, extremely pale skin. And he said they came in and they looked around a little bit and they asked for you. And I said, I'm sorry, he's actually not working today. And it seemed like they didn't believe me, so they started to walk around the hotel, and shortly after they went to the tour desk, and he goes, I got busy. I started to have to bring cars around and get luggage, and by the time I came back, they were gone. But he goes, they freaked me out, and I really wanted to tell you that there were these weird guys in here looking for you. So, of course, now I'm a little bit skeptical and I'm a little bit freaked out all at the same time. So the first thing I do is I run into my security office because I know how to work the security system, and I rewound the cameras, and sure enough, here comes two gentlemen through the front door looking exactly how he described. Then the next day, I was talking with my tour desk, and one of them asked to talk to me. She came in my office, the same as my bellman, and she said, I need to tell you about something that happened. I heard that you heard that there were some men looking for you. And I said, yes. And she said, they asked a few questions about you, and they said strange things that I didn't understand. And they were talking about governments and conspiracies, and none of it made any sense to me. But she goes, they were very, very scary. And I said, well, why were they scary? And she said, they had no facial hair, none. She said they had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, nothing. Their hair looked like they had a wig on, like it was attached to their hat, like it wasn't even real. And she said, and the scariest thing, their eyes were so big and so blue that they almost hypnotized me a little bit. And she goes, and you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I swear they knew what I was thinking. I swear. And I don't think I'm crazy, but I don't even know how they could do it, and I don't know why I'm even telling you this. She goes, so I started to think about things other than you, and I don't even know if it worked. And she started to cry, and she said one more thing before she left. She said, these men, they didn't blink. Not once did I see them blink.
Wow. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Men in Black, which goes kind of hand in hand with all of this, because there was a period of time, and I don't know why that phenomena seems to have just dropped off, but there was a time for decades where people seeing things like this could very well nearly expect to be encountering these Men in Black. So it's a very strange phenomena, and that is extra cool because that is actually the surveillance footage from that hotel showing them coming in. And they don't look like they belong there. They don't look like they're in the right place. It's very creepy, but special thanks again to Wes for putting that together and letting us use it here on the show. Wes is a huge contributor to the show, which is awesome. We appreciate his contributions, but very, very cool. That is the actual footage, ladies and gentlemen. So you may have very well seen Men in Black on that video segment. So I think it's very powerful. I think, I don't know, that whole account. And when you listen to the guy, you can kind of hear that what was going on was he was emotional. And it sounds like the people
freaked out.
Yeah, the people that experienced those things directly were very freaked out. You know?
Yeah.
Have you'd seen that before though, right?
Yeah, we've talked about it before, but
Yep.
actually having a story to go with it is actually kind of nice.
Yeah,
You
yep.
know, and so, you know, yeah, we've talked about that one before, and it's nice to have a little more confirmation on it. But yeah, it's one of those stereotypical "we told you to shut up" kind of things. You know,
Yeah.
we're telling you to shut up.
So yeah, now that's the thing that Don, you'll probably remember this, but I was thinking, why did the Men in Black kind of drop off? Well, I think because they probably are still out there doing their thing, and it sounds ridiculous, but they're probably now just running message boards online,
Yeah.
making a bunch of crap statements
Sure.
because those are powerful. Because nobody wants to be a fool,
Right.
and so whatever the proof that's offered, you'd almost swear those are Men in Black going, "Oh, it's fake. This is
Right.
so much crap. I can't believe you guys
Yeah,
believe this."
They're called fact checkers. Sorry, I can't help that one.
That's all right. But, I think that the game has changed.
Yeah.
And they don't need to do the intimidating visit people and make them feel afraid because our culture has changed. We're now online. Everything is instantaneous. So are these people that no matter what you show them, it's, "Oh, this is a bunch of crap. The dumbest thing I ever saw. I can't get those 2 minutes in my life back ever," because their time was so important they were spending it looking at videos.
Right. Exactly. Cat videos.
So yeah, exactly.
Just being
So
catatonic.
I think that kind of stuff is still happening, but it's just a different phenomena now.
Somebody said something earlier, when we were still talking about that other story, though, about John Lear and the things that happened in, 47 and 53 and 56 and then 65.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said something that was kind of interesting. I don't remember who it was, but they said 64 is when the Beatles happened, and we never heard another thing. It's a good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
So is the Beatles a psyop?
Oh well, it gave them a chance, certainly,
No.
to point the finger other ways. Oh, you guys need to be excited about this new band from.
Yeah, it is. Look,
Liverpool.
something shiny.
Yeah.
Look over here.
Hey,
And it's kind of
don't
like
look at the right hand. It's the
Right.
left hand that's showing you that.
it's kind of like all of the things that were going on recently. And what did we get? We got Johnny and Amber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We got Johnny and Amber. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell was in court, and
Right.
where did that go?
Right.
Where did that go? Well, that got buried because Johnny and Amber was much more entertaining.
Yeah, it was much more entertaining. Yeah.
And I'm sure it really was. Of course, whatever
Oh, it was.
came up in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial would have been absolutely horrendous and terrifying.
Right.
But the point is that something so
She's
much
still
bigger was
alive.
happening.
She's still alive, huh?
So
Wow,
far.
that's amazing.
So far.
Wow.
But I think it's very interesting. There's an old Roman line, give them bread and circuses.
Yep.
Give them bread and circuses.
Yep.
And these are our bread and circuses. These are the things that are meant to keep us occupied, keep us distracted and I'm not trying to get all conspiratorial and stuff, but my God, if you're going through this modern age and you're not seeing,
Right.
if you're not seeing some funky stuff going on, you are closing your eyes pretty tight
Yeah, no doubt.
because there's some shenanigans about, but,
Yeah, some stuff happened at G7 too. Yeah.
to what?
Sorry, G7, the G7 meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Trace says she got 20 years and we got no coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
and who are the people?
Yeah.
Where's the list?
20 years for what? Let's hear what let's hear the charges and let's hear what she was what she was found guilty on,
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah,
So
Trojan horse, yeah.
I don't like to get into those
Yeah.
topics too much, but I think it does. It doesn't. It's obvious that there's such a bread and circuses going on.
Oh, Ruger.
Wow. No.
He says during Watergate we got Debbie Does Dallas. Okay, not the same, but still.
I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, I'm just saying that the thing is that if anything in the paranormal, in the UFO field especially, and in the Sasquatch field, there's these disinformation, there's cover-ups, there's things they're trying not to let you see what you're seeing. That instead they'll show you something else. Why?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's some
Misdirection.
concerted effort to keep things from being
Right.
mainstream. I mean, Tic Tac Craft. those videos were released, and it was just like, well, you know, what's on TV?
Yeah.
You know, well, that's cool. There's Tic Tac craft. It should have been huge. It should have been a big, big thing. But it was just
Trace.
Tuesday, you know?
We have some twisted people in the chat.
So I can. All right, now keep it friendly, family friendly here, folks. But it's you know, there's just something going on. Just something going on. That's all I'm going to say. All right, here's another one I wanted to cover, and this is an article by our good friend Mr. Brent Swanser of Mysterious Universe, and this one ties in with the whole UFO stuff as well, because are these some of the lizard people? I've heard these legends for a while now, and there's an account, I think it was on Monsters and Mysteries in America years ago, of these people seeing these things. What are these things that I'm talking about? Well, talking about the bizarre tale of the underground lizard people city of Los Angeles. And it's pretty freaky. There's apparently these lizard people that are observed in LA at night, and they go down into the sewers and disappear like Ninja Turtles. And I don't know what's the merit to it or not, but the claims are out there. Is there something to it? Let's check it out. And again, check out Brent Swanser on Mysterious Universe, and check out Mysterious Universe. It's a great site as well. But Brent Swanser has been a longtime friend of the show, and he has a group on Facebook if you want to get involved. Get to know the guy. Head over to, what is it?
Mysterious Universe?
No, his...
Oh, Dark League Paranormal.
Dark League Paranormal, thank you. My dyslexia kicked in, and that was just gone. Or my Alzheimer's, whichever one is hitting me.
My old timers?
It's getting old-timer, believe me. Especially after today, God. The bizarre tale of the underground lizard people of Los Angeles. There's always been tales of lost civilizations and mysterious people populating the fringes of our understanding. The darkest, most remote corners of our world are rife with such tales, and they have always held a certain fascination for those of us who wonder at what lies over the horizon and past the border of what we think we know. While the wild and isolated and uncharted places of the world may seem to be the most ideal candidates for this sort of thing, this doesn't always seem to be the case, and one very bizarre tale of a lost underground civilization comes to us from a man who claimed to have found a what?
A lost race.
Oh, lost race called the lizard people that had once lived right under Los Angeles, California. In 1983, a mining engineer in What?
1933.
1933, sorry.
It was a lot longer ago than 83.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I don't like their new font. 1933, a mining engineer in Los Angeles, California, by the name of G. Warren Schufelt, claimed that he had come up with a revolutionary new device for surveying underground for oil, gold, and other valuable resources, as well as for subterranean cave and cavern systems. He called it the radio X-ray machine. And it looked like a pendulum suspended on a cylindrical glass case, which was ensconced within a black box and worked sort of like a technologically advanced dowsing rod. One description at the time described it as a cylindrical glass case inside which a plummet attached to a copper wire held by the engineer sways continually. And according to Schufelt, this machine could use radio X-rays to analyze chemical, electrical, and physical properties of a matter of great depths and up to several miles away, using a process he never really explained but assured everybody was a newly discovered scientific principle. Oh, is that it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There is G. Warren Schufelt right there. Schufelt began using his mysterious device all over the Los Angeles area, looking for gold and other valuable materials, but it was directly under the city's downtown area where he would allegedly make his most shocking discovery. There, directly under the heart of the city, he was puzzled to find readings of a vast underground tunnel system that he claimed meandered all the way to the top of Mount Washington and miles under Santa Monica Bay. He claimed that those tunnels were all intelligently arranged and formed a structured labyrinth complete with rooms in various large chambers. The whole of it of such an immense size that he estimated it would be able to comfortably house at least 5,000 people, Making it all even more exciting was that he always said that he had picked up readings that showed that there were large stores of gold kept down there in those dank rooms and tunnels. And so he meticulously made a secret map of this new underground realm and went about to trying to figure it out, just what he had found. He would say of his find, "I knew I was over a pattern of tunnels that I'd mapped out in the course of the tunnels, the position of large rooms scattered along the tunnel route as well as the position of deposits of gold, but I couldn't understand the meaning of it. My radio X-ray pictures of tunnels and rooms, which are subsurface voids and of gold pictures with perfect corners, sides, and ends, are scientific proof of their existence. However, the legendary story must remain speculative until unearthed by excavation." In his quest for answers, he went to an old Hopi Indian leader known as Chief Little Greenleaf, who seemed to know well about the ancient tunnel system.
I would imagine so.
And began to weave quite an outlandish tale. According to Little Greenleaf, thousands of years ago, there once lived a race of people descended from the Mayans he called the lizard people, because they supposedly worshipped the lizard as a symbol of long life, who lived all along the Pacific coast. This lost civilization was apparently extremely technologically and intellectually advanced, far beyond their time, with all manner of wondrous inventions and machines and incalculable wealth from gold, but their reign came to an end with an enormous meteor shower that fell 5,000 years ago to nearly wipe them out. Little Greenleaf explained that the survivors of this fiery catastrophe had then retreated to a series of underground cities that they had carved into the earth, using a mysterious chemical solution that could melt bedrock, and which they had reinforced using an unknown advanced form of concrete. The myriad rooms were allegedly fully stocked with supplies, and the lizard people had also brought all of their gold with them to sequester away down there until it was deemed safe to come back to the surface. There were apparently 3 of these cities made, all built in the shape of a lizard, with one under Los Angeles, another beneath Mount Shasta, and yet another whose location was unknown, with the one Shufelt had found being the largest and the capital. Among the many rooms of the city was what Shufelt called the Key Room, which according to legends held 37 large slabs of gold measuring 4 feet long and 14 inches wide, which supposedly held the complete records of the origins of the human race. Shufelt would say of this enigmatic lost city, "The radio X-ray has revealed the location of one of 3 lost cities on the Pacific coast. The local one having been dug by the lizard people after the Great Catastrophe, which occurred about 5,000 years ago. This legendary catastrophe was in the form of a huge tongue of fire which came out of the southwest, destroying all life in its path. The path being several hundred miles wide. The city underground was dug as a means of escaping future fires. Large rooms in the domes of the hills above the city of Labyrinth housed 1,000 families in the manner of tall buildings, and imperishable food supplies of the herb variety were stored in the catacombs to provide sustenance for the lizard folk for great lengths of time." Shufelt was convinced that his machine had found this ancient lost city and went about making plans to prove it by launching an excavation. He was able to get a permit from the county board of supervisors to drill down to 1,000 feet, and in February 1934, Shufelt began digging at a vacant lot on North Hill Street, right above what he claimed to be the treasure room, with the stipulation that the city would get half of any treasure that might be found. By now, the media was eating up the story of ancient lost civilizations, lost treasures, and lizard people directly under the city, and the dig was a media circus carefully watched by the public. For several days they drilled, but they were forced to abort at 300 feet when they encountered copious mud after the shafts passed the water table and the tunnel threatened to collapse. Nothing of the underground city or its gold was ever found. After this, interest in the whole fiasco dried up. Shufelt ran out of money to continue his excavations, and he faded into obscurity, dying in North Hollywood in November of 1957 with barely 2 cents to rub together. It would seem that at some point over the years, his wondrous X-ray machine and map of the underground city of the lizard people vanished to never be seen again, adding a further bit of mystery to the whole tale and making sure that there's very little to verify any of it. What is going on here, and was there anything to it? Was this just a guy with too much time on his hands, a slow news day, or is there perhaps something more to it all? Whatever the case may be, it's an obscure and odd little piece of Los Angeles history. And who knows what may be lurking down there under those busy city streets. Yeah, well, this is a little bit of a different tale. It is very curious. I don't think he probably found anything. I don't know what to make of it, but I will tell you that there are claims, folks, of some strange lizard people that seem to emerge from the sewers at night to hunt or to forage or what. I don't know. So is there merit to this whole legend? Maybe. I don't know about the whole gold thing. They sound, the encounters that I've heard, they sound more animalistic.
Right.
Like they're not stupid. They seem organized to a degree, but that they're more just like any other pack of dogs or coyotes or something like that. Like they come out with a purpose and then they try to steal dogs or people or whatever, and then they disappear back under the streets. So is there something to it? Maybe. I don't know.
It's the best we can offer.
It's the best we got. We don't have a lot of answers here on the portal, but by God, we get a lot of questions. Right, Don?
Yes, lots of questions.
Lots of questions. So there you have it. That was that article, and special thanks to Mr. Brent Swanser,
And
of course.
always, Brent Swanser to bring the strange,
Yeah.
and the unknown.
And he's so good at it.
Yes.
So I don't know. I got one final UFO article here. This is more of a reference, and again, I'm going to leave a link in the chat for you guys to check out. There's video elements to this to check out. I did watch this. It was very interesting. This is from unknownboundaries.com, and let's see, it's posted June 27th, 2022 by Chet Dembeck. Very interesting. This is from astronaut Gordon Cooper. Astronaut Gordon Cooper tells of witnessing a fleet of hundreds of UFOs and disappearing evidence. And it's tiny. So what do we do to tiny things, Don?
We blow them up.
We blow them up right big, don't we?
Right big.
All right, Gordon Cooper, one of the 7 original U.S. Project Mercury astronauts to propel humankind into space, witnessed several extraordinary UFO sightings in his long career as a test pilot and astronaut. While I had heard rumors of his sightings, one including a fleet of hundreds of UFOs, I've never heard Cooper himself tell his stories until now. In the middle of doing some research on the subject, I came across an old video courtesy of Eyes on Cinema. And check out that YouTube page. Mm-hmm. They got some great black and white Buster Keaton stuff there. There's so many cool snippets on Eyes on Cinema. Look for it on YouTube, which showcased a short but succinct interview with Cooper that blew my mind. Tells all in plain words. In this under 4-minute interview, Cooper tells of his experiences in plain words that only a humble man of his high stature could. It's well worth viewing, in my opinion. And so I would recommend, if you're interested in this, to check it out. I'm going to copy it and put it in the chat for your viewing pleasure. We got some homework tonight, folks. But there it is. It is a really cool little interview. And my hat's off to Eyes on Cinema, because, God, that would have been just lost to time.
Right. Yeah.
They got so many old things over there, and it's really cool. But this is a really cool little interview that he did, I think in the 70s, maybe the 80s, but at any rate, very cool. So check it out if you want to hear his personal take on what he witnessed and his explanations of it. It's really fascinating. He definitely saw something. And I think that astronauts coming forth, especially from this generation, mm-hmm. is very profound. These were the first guys to get up there and see this stuff. So it was kind of us really breaking free of the ground, not just traveling at 10, 15,000 feet,
right,
but going into the atmosphere and into the outer reaches of space finally. And I think that is so profound. So for them to come out and say, hey, I saw things I don't understand, That to me is
something somebody needs to listen to.
right. Yeah, these guys were cut from stone. I mean, that's a total different metal.
He specifically was one of the toughest guys ever to fly those planes. I mean,
oh, I believe it. Yeah,
he was good at what he did.
And you can tell he's very humble. If you listen to this interview, he's very humble, and he is just very matter of fact. This is what I've seen. He doesn't get extraordinarily flamboyant about it. He's just like, well, that's what I saw. You can tell he's a very humble and sincere man. So when somebody like that speaks, you do tend to listen. At least I do, because this is a whole different generation of people that just and he seems so sincere. So if you're looking for some kind of established evidence of seeing something that shouldn't be there, this is the interview to check out.
Right.
It's very short. Again, it's only going to take a few minutes of your time, but well worth those few minutes of your time.
Well, geez.
You
know what it is?
Is it time?
It is time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the journey through the Paranormal Portal. Special thanks to Wes from Sasquatch Chronicles for giving us so much to work with here tonight. Really appreciate it, and hope you guys enjoyed the journey as well. If you're new, please get subscribed. We'd love to have you stick around and become part of what we're doing here. As always, be back on Friday nights and Saturday night. Don, you'll be here Friday, right?
I still plan to be, yes, absolutely.
That's all we can ask.
That's what we're looking for.
He's a man with a plan, ladies and gentlemen. So
I don't know about that. Wow, too much expectation there, Mr. Brent.
I know, I'm trying to keep it calm. But at any rate, folks, hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for being here. Don, anything in closing?
That there's still that coupon out there, the discount code, Our Friends, for 15% off our gear. So there you go.
And where can you use it?
Our Friends.
You can use it on Teespring, folks, and there should be a shelf underneath the shows that you should see. But if not, just go to the description of this video, and you'll see a link to this page. And this is teespring.com, Paranormal Portal gear. And it's right here, all the different things, all the different offerings, coffee mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, T-shirts, stickers.
And really dig into there, because one of the classic designs, the rockers, are down a ways. For some reason, they need to be moved back up. But
these are the rockers.
There.
There's the bucket hat, folks, that we've been hearing.
Yep.
Yep. You need a bucket. You need a bucket to carry your head in. Look at under the brim too. It's got Paranormal Portal on it.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. That's some pretty fancy stuff right there, folks.
I know.
So there it is. There's mugs. There's lots of different things to choose from, and there will be more stuff in the near future. But it certainly goes a long way to help us support the show and to keep things developing and helping to keep the lights on. Yep. Because this show without lights would be dark. It'd be very dark. So we'd appreciate if you help keep the lights on. All right, folks. So that's all we got time for tonight. So thank you so much for being here. Just remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll be back on Friday night. Don will be here with me. And we'll tear it up again. We'll tear a new one on Friday.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Is that some of the advanced probing?
We could be getting into some advanced probing on Friday.
Okay.
It's a family show, though. Family show. All right, guys. That's it for us. Have a great night. We'll see you Friday and Saturday.
Good night.
Join us. See you then. Parting is really hard, Don. I have trouble with this part.
It's just a button push, bro.
I know. It just sounds so damn easy.
It is so damn easy.
Okay.
It's so easy to
push
the button.